You are watching NBC, home of the world's most prestigious tennis championship, Wimbledon.
Two sisters who are best friends and whose bond has remained as strong as ever while they've risen to the top of their profession. And they should be used to this. It's the third time in the last year they're going to play for a championship, but there's no experience that can ever match what they will do in just a moment as they walk through these doors at the All England Lawn Tennis Club. The big sis has owned this championship the last 2 years. It was where she first arrived in the tennis world 2 summers ago. The little sister was the first to win, but she sat idly by while her sister put 4 wins together, only to reclaim her spot as a champion a month ago in Paris, and now is #1 in the world. They are the tennis royalty of the women's world right now, Venus and Serena Williams. And from the hardscrabble public courts of Compton, California, they now play each other for a championship on the world's most prestigious tennis court. It's a story that's been told before. The Williams sisters in another Grand Slam final. The fortnight is nearly complete, and it's no surprise that the world's 2 best players have spent it dominating all challengers. A Williams stranglehold on this championship, this game. And they're not going to let go anytime soon. This sport has never seen anything like it before. Its history not only repeating, but in the making, today at Wimbledon. And welcome to Center Court Wimbledon Live, our coverage of breakfast at Wimbledon, the ladies' championship, the sisters again, Venus and Serena. This time it's Venus looking for her 3rd Wimbledon championship in a row, and Serena trying to add another championship trophy to her growing collection. Ted Robinson, Chris Everett, John McEnroe.
Can we call the match from out here, Ted?
Wouldn't that be something? Spectacular. Well, 2 summers ago, it was right on this roof, right above our heads, that Richard Williams danced and held up a sign and said, "It's Venus's party, and no one's invited." We have to amend that. It's been Venus and Serena's party during this fortnight. And Chris, the last question is, can they finally play the great competitive final match we're looking for?
Well, it'll be hard to say. I think if you remember last month at the French Open, they played a very competitive first set, and then the second set kind of faded away. And that's been the whole story when they play a match. Do I think they're going to play a competitive match? I think yes, because Serena is the one that this year said, I want to be #1. I want to win Grand Slams. She stepped up to the plate, and now they're on an even par.
John, what do you think? Could this be the day?
I really have no idea, but who's going to win it? I think this is the great stage. I mean, this is the most famous court in tennis. I think the time really is now. I think we're going to see a great match. Pressure, believe it or not, more on the older sister, Venus, who's found herself losing the #1 ranking, losing both matches to Serena this year, and I think there's going to be more of an edge to Venus in this match.
Well, someday we'll see that match where they don't look at each other across the net as sisters, but as rivals. Perhaps this will be it. Bud Collins and Jimmy Roberts will also be joining us today on our live coverage of breakfast at Wimbledon.
Championships, Wimbledon, brought to you by Lincoln. There are those who travel and those who travel well. By British Airways, which invites you to try first flatbed in business class. By Match.com, where singles turn into doubles every day. Match.com, click here. And by Morgan Stanley. One passion, one mission, one principle, one client at a time.
It's an overcast and cool afternoon in London. The temperature is expected only to reach the low 60s. The good story to this point on this Saturday, dry. And we hope that that continues throughout the duration of this ladies' championship match. featuring Venus Williams trying for a third consecutive Wimbledon singles title. Her first Grand Slam championship came on these courts 2 years ago on this day, just turning 22 years old several weeks ago. And she will hold #1 in name only until Monday, when the next rankings come out, and she'll be passed by her sister. Only 5 losses on tour this year, matches her total for all of last year, and 20 consecutive Wimbledon match victories.
And just a little hiccup there in that third round against Canadian Maureen Drake. Maureen Drake, give her a lot of credit. That 7-5 set, she played some good grass court tennis. American Lisa Raymond, no problem at all. And Enin, seeded 6, you know, we all expected a tougher match. Enin played so well against Monica Seles, but just Venus totally overpowered her.
And here's sister Serena at 20, and on Monday will officially become #1 in the world regardless of the outcome of this match. Made a stronger commitment to play this year, and the results speak for themselves. An extraordinary year to rise from 9 in the world to 1.
Well, it's the fact that she's also beaten her sister twice, Ted. She's beaten Jennifer on 4 separate occasions. She's run through this draw without losing a set in the entire tournament, and Mauresmo, who played a fantastic match against Capriati, was blown off the court in the semis.
And you know, John and Chris, it was amazing to hear Mauresmo, after being really demolished by Serena Williams, saying, hey, there was nothing I could do. That player on the other side of the net was too good. Justine Enin, after losing to Venus, said right now the gap between them and the rest of us is too huge.
Well, they're all saying it. I mean, not only those 2 players, but all of the players, with the exception of Jennifer Capriati. I think Jennifer is a bit defensive about the power because Jennifer matches their power. You know, she feels that she's right up there with them.
But you pointed out, Chrissy, all too aptly, that the serve, Jennifer's serve, is just not in the same league right now. It's something that I think she must know at this point she's going to have to work on.
Well, their head-to-head history dominated by Venus at the outset, but as Chris alluded to, the last 2 matches in 2002 were won by Serena. And I'm interested, when we looked at that French Open final, Venus in particular, both players struggled, but Venus in particular on her serve. Is serve going to dictate the outcome of this match?
Well, first serve, definitely. But as we saw at the French, there was tons of breaks. I mean, Venus lost her serve on numerous occasions, and her second serve was shaky. So whoever has a better first serve percentage, I believe, will be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, serve means a lot more on the grass courts because the serve is more of a weapon. Even on the red clay, if you get a big first serve in there, you still have that extra few seconds to return it because the surface is slower.
Against Mauresmo in the semifinals, Serena's first serve percentage was 74%.
Well, that's when you're in big trouble.
Man, I would think not even Venus could beat that, could she? I mean, if Serena's first serve's at 74% today.
Well, I think I'd be very surprised if you saw it at 74% just because of the difficulty that they've had playing against each other. I'd love to see both of them serve 74% and see what happens.
Time.
And I will point out those 4 matches Capriati lost to Serena this year. It was a 6-4 in the third tight match, 7-5, 7-6. It was also 7-5 in the third where she had chances, and we saw the French where she was 1 game from getting the final. So it's not as if Serena's dominating Capriati.
Right. Serena had to hold serve at 5-6 in the second set after dropping the first. In their semifinal, wound up winning the French Open Championship, and now to play her sister for the Wimbledon Championship. And a look at what the sisters have done. Third time in the last 4 majors. In Australia, Serena did not play. She turned her ankle in a hardcore warm-up in Australia. Venus did play and was defeated in the quarterfinals by Monica Seles.
Well, surprise, surprise. They warmed up together this morning.
You feel the tension. I don't know.
Johan Savic is their hitting partner, and he was just watching, and they got on the court.
It's a good job, man.
Did a little jogging. Yeah, he gets paid a lot for, usually he
paid a lot.
Fits in there and practices with them if they have matches at different times. But, hey, they have a match at the same time, so they just hit. Stretched out a lot, ran around the court, played for about 45 minutes, seemed to be in good spirits.
And Venus Williams will serve to begin the championship match.
Love 15. But I think you're right, John. The pressure has to be on Venus because she's had the upper hand up until the French Open. She's had the upper hand, and now, you know, rubbing her face in it, the fact that Serena's ranked #1 in the world.
She had won all 4 times they had played in the majors until just a month ago.
And I think Venus is the one with the most pride. You know, she's the quieter. You know, we always lump these two together, but they're so individual personality-wise. And Venus is definitely the more poised. She internalizes everything. She has, I think, thinks about the tennis history and the tennis records a little bit more than Serena. Whereas Serena is, you know, outgoing and vivacious, and as a result, more explosive on the court.
And if so, then Venus understands what she can achieve today.
40-15.
Only Martina Navratilova and Steffi Graf in the open era have won 3 consecutive Wimbledons.
Game is Venus Williams.
And so Venus with a good first service game. Got 4 of the 5 first serves in.
First game.
And how proud must mom be, as the sisters have both said throughout this fortnight.
Serena Williams
we're proud
to
our
serve.
parents have raised not 1 but 2 champions.
Not sure what was said there, but hopefully we'll loosen everybody up. The crowd and the 2 sisters. For one, who does the crowd root for? They're rooting for a good match. It's just, other than that, I'm sure they know what to do.
Love 15.
And many here were probably here 2 years ago when they played in the semifinals in what was a very disappointing match that Serena had played so well going in and did not play well at all against Venus.
She was like the favorite of the tournament. She, I think, lost 3 or 4 games before she reached that round.
It's actually worked out well for both of them so far, which leads me to believe they're going to play some great stuff, because it was surprise Serena who won the first major at the U.S. Open. That woke Venus up. She went on to win 4 in a row, and then Serena said, hey, wait a minute, don't forget
Right.
about me, and she's pumped herself up. Now it's so close that I expect and hope to see some fabulous tennis today.
And she's also over the intimidation factor. I don't think Serena, I think as much as she grew up idolizing and listening to her older sister, I think she feels that her tennis, she's on the same par. But it's interesting when they make winners, they're not getting all pumped up like they would normally against other opponents. Don't want to rub it in.
40-15. Well, it is early, so we'll give them a chance to get their feet wet. Packed house already here, center court at Wimbledon. A sign of their immense popularity and interest.
Let's first serve.
Returns positive in that each serves well in their first game.
1 game all, first set.
Well, Serena's Grand Slam career emerging out of nowhere, that surprise U.S. Open championship as a teenager, and then the French Open championship this year.
Love 15.
right there.
Those are the kind of points that I think everyone would like to see. Making use of the whole court. Look at the reach that Venus has over here. She gets over those long arms and smacks the winner against Serena, who's probably the fastest woman on the tour.
If Serena's faster, Venus makes up for it with that long reach. She covers a lot of ground. That's where Venus is most suspect on that second serve.
And that's the suspect shot on Serena's side, is that forehand.
She got a little tight, pulled up. That would have been a couple break points for her. She's got to make her sister play some volleys there. Not easy to do when those butterflies are still churning in the stomach. Venus has made a number of errors here early, and Serena with the break point chance.
And Venus long. So the first break in the ladies' championship goes to Serena. NBC's 34th year covering the championships, Wimbledon, and one of the great traditions in an American summer, our live coverage of breakfast at Wimbledon. And the Williams sisters, who did this in New York last September, they did it in Paris last month for the championships of the United States and France, but a whole nother level when you do it at Center Court Wimbledon.
Let's hope the USTA is not listening to you, Ted, right now. I would argue that playing in Arthur Ashe Stadium, these two young black girls, would be quite a monumental event and achievement.
But the tradition here, unmatched.
Can you believe I'm buttering up the USTA? Trying to help them out.
15-all.
The reason why you're probably going to see more errors in this match versus winners is because they run down balls so well. Normally would have been winners against anyone else.
30-50.
Consequently, they have to go for more shots against each other, so that will produce more errors. And so people are quick to say they're sloppy matches, but they have to go to a higher level when they play one another. And they don't have to do that against other opponents.
And they've only practiced probably 20,000 hours with each other in their lives.
They know each other's game so well.
That has to factor in here, doesn't it?
I always feel like, you know, when you practice with someone, it really benefits the player who's not as good. You know, the more, because you're getting used to.
We don't know who that is, though.
Yeah, right. But I mean, when you know, you're learning more and more about that person's game and trying to pick up little tips on how to beat them.
Unless you're so utterly dominated in practice that you just throw in the towel. But normally that's true. If someone gets out there and gets to play with better competition, it's going to force you to get better. Usually Serena more aggressive on that short ball. Right here, she just sort of guided the ball up the line. And with Venus, you just mentioned how fast they are, their speed and power. And It's a pretty easy shot for her.
I didn't think she expected that soft a ball. She was running sideways, and then she came in instead of cutting off the angle.
Trying to listen to the grunts, and they sound pretty good.
Forced, yeah, but they're Serena especially. Her grunt is a little bit louder.
A little late.
But if there was more trouble playing your sister, less intensity, would you sense it there? Would they not be grunting?
I don't think this early in the match they would be grunting this loud.
Game is Venus Williams.
So a double by Serena gives the break back. 2-all. Let's hear Venus Williams talk about playing her sister.
2 games all.
I think the only difference between playing my sister and playing someone else is that I want to win, but I want her to win also. Basically, because I want the best for her. But yet I'm going out there strong.
That's a big difference, though, Ted. That if you want your opponent to win, too.
Well, right, and that's what I was saying. Now, how both of you did it in championship matches.
Well,
How can the sisters develop that? I'd assume you probably have to have some selfishness, right, to play this match. Say, I want to win. I don't care about the other person losing.
I just feel bad because the winner really can't enjoy it. I mean, to win a Grand Slam event, you should be out, really celebrating and feeling great about it. But they don't want to rub the other one's face in it and make them feel bad. Serena did not celebrate after the French Open. She said she just went back to her room. There was no big celebration.
And I would throw out there, they've both been #1 in the world now. They've both won multiple championships.
Now it's time.
The barriers have been eliminated.
Now it's time to go all out.
Maybe they could buy separate houses.
Get separate coaches. And
30-15.
well, at one point, they've got to start thinking about their individual records and their individual place in history, and not just together. The Williams sisters have won 6 Wimbledons. I mean, if they have pride and ambition, and I think that time could be now.
40-15.
Plenty of pride and plenty of ambition with these two young ladies.
Well, that was an uncharacteristic backing, but once again, the ball's coming back at a different pace. There are going to be a lot of breaks of serve because they've seen this serve coming at them millions of times in practice.
See, now that's the point. The kind of point that I think everyone wants to see them keep playing.
You just want the last shot to be that winner. Right? Venus was really hustling there to get back in the court, and Serena stayed down to that backhand. It was just way too good there.
Let for serve. Advantage, Miss Serena.
Venus tossing in.
Yeah, there have been 5 double faults, and mainly because they know what the other one will do with that second serve. Eat it up.
Game is Serena Williams.
Now it's shaping up a little bit like Paris. 3 breaks in the first 5 games.
Time.
When Serena Williams sat down in the changeover, look at this. Some notes.
These are notes she writes to herself. I thought I saw "You can do it" one of those, but she said that she saw Venus doing that one time. in a match. Just notes to herself because Serena is the one that gets distracted. Venus is the one that's more focused. Serena has a tendency to be looking around to see who's watching and what's going on. But this whole tournament, she's been very focused.
I felt like there was something that helped me quite a bit. I had a couple notes, keep that focus and concentration, because believe it or not, every now and then I'd sort of lose it a little bit.
You did?
Did you?
I don't remember you reading notes on the side of court.
I did quite often.
Oh.
30 love.
What did you think when you watched Pete Sampras read his letter? Apparently it was from his wife during his...
I never had that one. That was a new twist to the saga. Didn't have the missus let me know. Just get off the court. I'm not sure what that one said. I'd like to know what Pete's missus had to say there.
Serena, the player that takes, I think, more risks, a little more adventurous, whereas Venus, she picks her balls a little bit more carefully, which ball she's going to put away. I mean, she waits until she's really in position, footwork and all.
Soft ball from Serena there, was it?
But Venus was trying to get some good depth and entice Serena into going for too much. Again, covered so much ground. I like the way Serena just played it nice and safe, but got into the position she wanted to be in, and she made that overhead look nice and easy for her.
Venus with the power on the second serve return.
Venus took that ball early, and she is getting a little tired of being on the defensive against little sis, so she was the one to dictate that point.
So Serena with the hold for 4-2, and we'll hear her talk about playing her sister.
Serena Williams.
When you're out there, you have to get serious, and you have to, because this is Wimbledon. I've never won Wimbledon. She's won it twice, but she wants to win again just to prove that she's a great player, and she really is. And I want a chance to win it too. So we're both going to be out there thinking these things, and both going to go out there fighting.
See, now that's...
we heard that before.
But those are the words you want to hear.
Yeah, we heard that before the French, too. You know, I mean, Serena's, Venus has won the last few Grand Slams. Now it's my turn. That's the same tone. And we hadn't heard her talk about this before at the beginning of the year. It was always, I'm going to just try my best, and, I'm going to do whatever I can. And now the talk is, hey, remember me? I'm the little sister. I want to be number one. I want to win Grand Slams. Venus has won enough.
I think it shook her up just a bit in a positive way when Venus won her second Wimbledon, a couple U.S. Opens. She had beaten her all 4 times. The way that U.S. Open match went down is not good for Serena.
John, as great a mover as Venus is, and she has that reach, it's Serena, to me, the one that's getting off the mark quicker and is more explosive with her footwork.
But still, even on that previous point, you saw how far off the court Venus had been pulled, yet she was able to get back
40-30.
across the court and try to hit a shot.
We probably have to hit the lines on both sides to win a point from both these girls. And so far, very highly competitive, by the way.
Game is Venus Williams.
So Venus with the hold. Serena still on the break in the first. The Ladies Championship at Wimbledon, Serena Williams with the break at 4-3 in the first. And the sisters who share a home in Florida have got a pretty healthy
How's
trophy
that for
room.
a record? And they're only 22 and 20.
And it's astounding because the sisters, obviously, when they play each other, have played under a cloud. So there's always the whispers, the suspicion that matches between the two may be prearranged.
But you know what? There have been a lot of siblings who have played, and I mean, there are always whispers. It's not specifically these two.
And I think that's right. But I think what that graphic we just saw showed us is, again, that all the barriers to anything even suggesting that are now removed. There would be you would sense no motivation for anything like that to happen.
I don't sense that's happened in these big tournaments in quite a while. I mean, if they did that, I would encourage them to go 3 sets for our sake. Longer
Speaking
matches.
from experience?
Well, mum's a word.
Yes, thank you.
Chrissy Serena, the more composed right now, don't you think?
She seems to harness that power so well. She's usually the one that makes more errors. Venus is the one that's concerned with errors. When she's talking about improving her game, she always mentions the fact that I really have to cut down on my errors. But
you look at the match so far, Serena's had 8 winners, only 4 on forced errors. Venus had 6 winners and 11 on forced errors.
But what we're seeing so far would lead me to think that if they can play this way for the match, it would erase any of those whispers and finally get that cloud away.
I think it'd be nice if Venus picked it up a little bit, make it more exciting. Serena's playing outstanding so far. She's got to pick it up.
So Serena at now 5-3 in the first set. For this Ladies Championship. Chris Evert and Bud Collins will both have in-depth analysis of this Ladies Championship. Press conferences on the Wimbledon channel brought to you by British Airways, and it's all at wimbledon.nbcsports.com.
Let's press.
How do you like the fact that Venus has lost her serve twice so far, and she's serving at 80% first serve percentage?
it's not encouraging for her, but
That's where Serena at times gets a little too excited.
But that's where Serena, the practicing all the time. I mean, Serena's seen about 1 million of those serves coming at her, and that's where the weaker player will have an advantage. And that's a big percentage because she puts her whole body into that first serve. She's not holding back anything.
39.
So would you read into that statistic that Serena's having a great return day?
I actually think Venus is holding back a little bit. I mean, she's been trying to get more first serves in so far. It hasn't worked as well as she expected. Serena's really gone after the first serve.
Well, I meant Serena's not holding back on her serve, but I think what it means is that Serena just is used to returning her serve, and it's routine for her. She probably knows right when Venus throws that toss up, she probably has a good idea where it's going.
Game is Venus Williams.
So a hold at love for Venus. Serena will serve for the first set. In the royal box today, the Right Honorable Baroness Margaret Thatcher and Jacques Roga from Belgium, the president of the International Olympic Committee, among the honored guests in the royal box at center court. In the semifinals on this court 2 years ago, it was Venus Williams in a one-sided match.
Thank you.
Now it is Serena serving for the set.
Let's see what happens here. You've talked about this a lot, Chris, which is so true, that preparation. When she gets the racket back so early, she lines it up.
That was the first thing I noticed about them when they came on the scene, even when they were little tykes, is they got that racket back way before anybody else got their racket back, and they were ready for it.
Big contrast in the set. Serena with a lower first serve percentage, but winning virtually every point on her first serve.
She's backing it up. I mean, she's winning the rallies.
You talk about great defense from Venus there. She was way off the court. She was able to muster up this serious effort to get that forehand back and get herself in this game. Give Serena something to think about here at 30 all. Second service, he's in a lot more trouble. Venus' ball just inside the baseline.
So a point for Venus to level the set. And she does. And the first display of some emotion from Serena after losing a chance to serve out the set.
Well, everything looked like it was happening so easily for Serena. She had up 30-15. Venus dug deep, and Serena tightened up. And lo and behold, we're back on serve in the first set.
15.
And she's just edged up. I mean, her heart rate's just jumped about 30 notches, losing serve.
Serena is the more demonstrative, and she wears her heart on her sleeve, and Venus, on the other hand, wants this just as much, but she keeps it inside, and she's the more poised. But Serena's definitely let her in now.
And apparently lost her concentration here.
And that's what happens when you let a top player in. They're in trouble. They win 1 or 2 points, and the level of their game lifts.
Well, we'll see if Serena goes back to those notes for one more big service game. The critical moment for Serena Williams in her French Open championship was her semifinal match, serving at this same spot. Second set, but serving at 5-6 to Jennifer Capriati. Serena there played a great game, held, won the tiebreak, won the third set.
And she was also, let's not forget, up 5-2.
15-11.
2 breaks. So, and then lost 4 straight games. So
Right.
she proved there she could pull herself together. And let's see if she does here. Take this to a first set tiebreak.
I mean, those are the types of shots that we haven't seen Venus hit this whole tournament. She's really had very few errors. Serena forcing her to go for shots she normally wouldn't have to go for.
What's amazing about that, how many other players, is there any other player who could make Venus have to play that much defense?
Or how about hit that many one-handed backhands, you know, to really get her stretched. Look at this, just stab that ball back, and she looks so off balance. Nobody can make her look like that but her little sister.
Well, you got to love this effort, though, right now by these 2 sisters fighting it out in the finals of Wimbledon.
Game is Serena Williams.
So Serena does pull herself together.
Nice dramatic way to end this first set.
6 games all, first set tiebreak.
All right, she doesn't even want to watch. She's like laughing about it. It's just, you know, in a sense, it's a win-win situation. You felt that she was pulling a little bit for Serena. She picked Serena to win the French Open. She said Venus has had her time, and Serena's turn now. I always sense that Richard and Venus were, you know, just that touch closer because, you know, Venus was the one winning the tournaments and she was the oldest, and Orsi was always taking care of Serena, you know, when they were watching Venus in the semis or in the finals, and Serena wasn't doing as well.
Who'd she pick for this match?
Nobody. Yeah,
talk about this being a win-win situation. It's hard to imagine a better situation.
Right. For the whole family.
And it is a family where there are 3 older sisters. Venus and Serena are the 4th and 5th. 3 older sisters all continuing their studies. These 2 were bred to be tennis champions. Big first serve. Not, we should emphasize, at the expense of education.
Richard Williams, Serena said, told her at the age of 6 years old, you know, you're going to be a tennis champ. You're going to be #1. So Serena said, I just grew up believing it, so it's not a big deal.
She's pulled herself back together. Couldn't finish it off when she served for the first set. Struggled at 5-all, but right now there's the forehand that we saw most of this match.
A little squeal from Serena.
3-2, Miss Serena Williams.
Normally you let this ball bounce, but Venus felt comfortable enough to take it early, finish it off. You don't want to risk a bad bounce, I suppose, in this grass court.
Maybe she doesn't want to have to think too much either at this point. Just react.
Yes.
Change ends at 4-2 Serena. In this first set tiebreak, 7 points wins the tiebreak. You must win by 2. You hear isolated cries from the center court crowd for one player or the other, but I still think
still quiet.
Same thing. Well, they don't know.
No, it's difficult.
No favorite.
They don't want to offend anyone, I think.
Isolated cry.
Pretty much says it all. She's in a winning position there.
4-3 is Serena Williams.
Venus has been scrambling and hustling, trying to find a way to pull this first set out, and she needed that point.
The first fist came up from Serena. Yes, this was a pretty weak drop shot right
Serena
here.
Williams.
Showed she's not entirely comfortable coming up not on her own terms.
I can't remember seeing even a set where Venus has been on defense so much as in this first set. And now she knows
Serena Williams.
On those 2 points it may have gotten from her. Serena taking a slight pause to gather herself. 3 set points.
Serena Williams.
Yeah, that's a new tactic. Venus stopped running entirely at that point. It's changing tactics midstream. The end of the first set tiebreak. Serena's got 2 more set points to go. She called a let. Yep, goes wide. Hold on here. Did she?
No, she didn't. Serena Williams.
My mistake.
Third ace, Serena Williams, the first set.
Keep everyone on their toes.
If you wondered at all about the intensity in this match, especially from the new #1 Serena Williams, you can hear it. Well, here they are, these 2 sisters who have come from a background that you probably could never have scripted. Playing each other for a championship the 3rd time in the last year on hard courts, on clay, and now on the grass at Wimbledon.
15 love.
In July of 1990, 12 years ago, the New York Times did a story, the first story ever on the sisters. Venus was 10, Serena was 8.
I think that was around the time I practiced with them too, Ted. When I was told they're going to be champion. Yeah. It shows you what I knew. Don't tell me the Times predicted they were going to be champion.
Here's the quote from this story. As we see this point again, Richard Williams, quote, in Compton, California. He said, we play on 2 courts. That's all they are. They look like trash. They're so slippery. But we'll stay here until Venus and Serena want to leave. They want to be able to be number 1 in the world and say they came from the worst neighborhood. 12 years ago, Richard Williams quote.
I think he wanted to say that. I don't think that they were thinking about things like that. That's, you know, pretty mature statement, but I think he's very proud of that fact. And also that
Serena Williams.
he started them. He learned tennis by reading a
First game,
book.
second set.
He also studied the game, obviously, from talking to coaches and watching matches. They went to Rick Macy's for a couple years. He used that resource. Didn't play junior tournaments. That story everyone knows. But they did it a very different way. And because they're such great athletes, I think it's worked for them. I think that's where they're head and shoulders better than anyone. Don't you, John? Is their athleticism
Love 15.
is such a high level.
And there's certainly an argument for giving more kids a chance that don't get the chance to play. You have to think that there's more champions out there if given the chance.
Which the sisters are going to do with their mom, Oracene.
Serena's doing everything the right way. Oracene, who is the newly in charge since Richard isn't here, she's now in charge of being a mom, but also the coaching aspect, looking after her daughters.
She's going to take the girls to Africa after this
Actually, the girls aren't going to Africa, but she is going. She is going to be on a fact-finding mission and to see if they're. I mean,
the girls eventually will go to play some exhibitions, put on some tennis clinics in various countries in Africa.
Once they get the locations, then the girls will probably go over there. But right now, it's just Oracene.
There's that weak second serve from Venus Williams. And now Serena's got a couple break points here early in the second. She's timing is off, desperately off at times on that second serve. Serena with the more fluid service motion.
Venus's balance seems to be off, and she carries her weight forward a little bit too soon.
Well, Serena won the first set at the French 7-5. Close set, and then the second set was easy.
Well, this has been the problem in the past, and we'll see if Venus can really put up a fight here.
Juice.
Because in every match they played, the first set has been great, and then it's just fizzled away. That's why they haven't gone 3 sets in any of the Grand Slams.
Advantage, Miss Venus Williams.
With the exception of 2000 Wimbledon, every second set has been easy.
Well, Venus pulled herself out of trouble there, saved 2 break points.
If it's possible that Serena got winded, she did when she got a 15-40, that one-love game. As we look at these stats, you're amazed to see Venus Williams serving such a high percentage, but equally surprised, Chrissy, to see so many more unforced errors from her than winners.
Well, I think Serena has 13, and that's a low number for her. And once in a while, she's going to have a game where everything flies.
15.
She's used that serve very effectively in this match, taking Venus out wide, very well placed.
outside of the line after a long rally. Both swinging away, firing away at each other.
It's the hardest hit match in women's tennis ever seen on center court. The crowd starting to cheer a little bit, but maybe they can't follow the ball. It's going so fast.
Serena did not get her forehand prepared early there, and it cost her the point. I think they're going to pull for Venus. I'm pulling for Venus to pull out the second set, go 3. So it's not what Serena had envisioned there.
Serena having a little slip back there.
30-40.
And has been the story of this Wimbledon. You see it with your eyes. Look at the court and see where the baselines are just rubbed raw. Dirt now, much of where Serena's serving.
Just the wicket hop there. Bounce right over Venus's racket. No chance for that return.
One of the few bad bounces we've seen.
Court has played firmer in this Wimbledon.
Firmer but slower.
Firmer and slower.
You can see the patches where the players are serving.
It's like dirt now. There's no grass back there.
Advantage Miss Serena Williams.
When John and I used to play in our era, there were more brown spots and patches around that volleying area and the baseline. I mean, maybe there was a foot behind the baseline, but there were more serve volleyers.
Chrissy and I would serve and volley.
Yeah, I didn't mean to put myself in your category as far as serving and volleying, but in our era.
Game Miss Serena Williams.
Oh, battle, but Serena holds on serve, second set. Players on court just less than an hour, where for 25 years the Rolex clock has truly become a Wimbledon tradition. After a week, well, this second week has been pretty much a constant. It's been overcast every day. We've had a fair bit of rain, luckily today. Although there are clouds overhead, the rains have not arrived.
Another tradition, the Williams sisters in Grand Slam final becoming.
Yes.
Quickly a regular thing.
And that was a major topic of conversation Thursday following just the 2 one-sided semifinal wins they had. Amelie Mauresmo was quoted as saying she thought that the Williams sisters playing in the finals repeatedly was boring.
Yeah, I can't believe some of the players are, it sounds like sour grapes to me. And also the press is even starting to say, you know, they don't really want to see them play one another. And domination is fine to a certain extent, you know, because what it does is it brings the other players. The other women players have to catch up now to these two. You know, these two have set a certain level of excellence, and now it's time for Lindsay and Hingis and Kleisters and Jennifer to really try to figure out maybe more training, more, you know, whatever it takes to reach their level, and then it's a great scene. But I think in the past, when we've had great rivalries, the players have been very different. John played Bjorn, I played Martina. The personalities and the style of play was always so different. It made it more interesting. These two players play the same way.
Well,
it's hard.
I think it was the point. You and Martina in your heyday, for example, you beat everybody, right? I mean, you guys were rolling through tournaments with no trouble, but you played each other well in the finals.
We had some good finals, and it was contrasting styles, different personalities. We brought each brought our own set of fans to watch.
I mean, it seemed to me that these girls have done so great for tennis. The only thing missing is them playing the great final against each other.
Well, hopefully this is
I mean, this is the best quality, yeah, that I've seen.
Serena looking here to take advantage early in the second. Venus has pulled herself out of trouble. I miss you guys, by the way, at the Gay Pride Parade earlier today in London.
Why would you be looking
Pardon-moi?
Don't get defensive. I was just enjoying myself for a walk near the hotel. It's a beautiful day in London. You two stopped in a hurry.
Venus at 2-all, second set. And now for something completely different, as Monty Python would say, the athletic trivia question. Serena Williams, if she wins today, would have won her third different slam event. How many active women have done that?
Would Martina Navratilova be one of those women?
Well, now you're catching up there, Chrissy. See, you said you brought your different fans, see, and just got me thinking. I see Martina over there in the other box, and BBC calling the match.
I asked Martina, I said, how would you play these girls? And she said, in her accent, first of all, I would serve into their body.
See Martina through the tinted glass directly across the court from us.
She had a certain volley game. She would serve into their body. She was talking about approaching down the middle, just cut off the angles.
Well, how hard was Martina's first serve? Could it have been effective enough to serve into the body?
Martina's first serve, these girls I think would eat up. You know, I think it.
See what it's like. It was
you know, in that era, it was the greatest, but there's just so much more power in the game.
15.
Now, how do you think Martina would respond to that?
Well, I say that, but one thing she did do was get into the net quick, and she had. I mean, I don't think her serve was great, but I think what was great about her is the way she followed it up. She got in quick, and she had some great volleys. A lot of these players have big serves and no volleys.
50.
Well, Venus has got 2 U.S. Opens, 2 Wimbledon, so obviously she's not in that category. That's one on 3 of the different events.
It's hard to compare players from different eras. You know, it's a bit unfair. You know, you do the best with the conditions during your era. And the conditions are a lot different nowadays.
A bit unfair to the old fogies.
Martina is still the greatest grass court player on the women's side that we've ever seen, and maybe we'll ever see. Venus, meanwhile, trying to protect her turf. You know, winning 2 Wimbledons. This is her surface. She has that pride factor going.
She needs to just pick it up. She's playing well to beat anyone but her sister. But just get it up. You sense she can, and she's really pushing to get to that level. Put some real pressure on Serena here.
but she has to dictate from that first shot. That's the problem. Serena's been the one who's dictating the points.
See, that's got to be frustrating to her. She's plays some good defense, gets herself back in the point, into position, but then over anxious there for her. Over hitting on that backhand. That was way long. Continuing to make way too many errors. Serena has played an excellent match so far.
Venus, so we stay on serve. Second set. Now, Black trivia question: if Serena Williams can win today,
Time.
3 different majors joining among active players: Lindsay Davenport, Martina Hingis, and Monica Seles.
I guess my answer: Navratilova is not an active player.
We didn't consider her for the purposes of this an active singles player.
Even though she played Eastbourne.
She's active to me.
So why did he make that list? That's why she played Eastbourne.
But think about that. For example, Venus Williams hasn't done that. Jennifer Capriati hasn't done it. Arantxa Sanchez Vicario, who's a terrific player for a long time. 2, but not 3. And that's what Serena can accomplish today.
There's another serve, Chrissy, where she looks so off balance there. No rhythm to that serve.
Serena Williams at her best, and just making all kinds of shots in the corner. Venus is
Look at that preparation. That's beautiful to watch.
on the defensive the whole time, and even though she has good reach, it's not good enough.
Down so low. She's so strong with her legs, Serena. She's down to the ball and she can hit it flat with power, but she could also hit some spin, get herself back into position, which she did on that point. And Venus pressed again. Backhand has been incredibly solid here. I knew it.
15.
Well,
the amazing thing was, even 2 points ago, Venus served. Serena played the point from the baseline, and Venus was playing the point 5 feet behind the baseline on her serve.
she's explosive, and Carrie Brooks works a lot with them. She's their trainer. Oh, that was too good. Carrie Brooks works a lot on the court with both women, and you know, Serena is low to the ground, and by working on your core, I think it really strengthens you and gives you more power.
Serena's ball was just inside the baseline. You can see there, Venus happy to clip the outside of the line.
This is about the time at the French, 4-2 in the second, when Venus started to phase a little bit, and not to say she mentally gave up, but she was not in the match after that point. Here again, it's a break point.
Here's Venus. No aces today, 5 doubles.
Those 2 loose and poor points from her. A double followed up by a relatively easy forehand. And Serena now up a set and 4-2.
Serena Williams leads 4 games to 2.
You almost feel a little bit like you're watching Venus play like Tim Henman did yesterday. It's a big server without the big serve.
I just think Serena's moving better, and that translates to being in position and just getting more balls in the court.
I have to believe that Venus still believes that she can come back and win this match. She's beaten her enough. Henman has never gotten past that point, so it's, you talk about the two champions out here, whereas Henman has never won a big one.
Well, Venus had 2 chances to stay alive, and now she's at 15 all.
And as the rally goes on, they hit harder and harder. They never let up. I haven't seen one shot where they've let up or changed the pace or thrown in some slices. It's just a slugfest out here.
Venus hit that 1 drop shot. Hasn't gone back to that.
No, that was not a good drop shot. They feel more comfortable just playing their game.
This is where you're pressing your luck a little.
I'm sure that adrenaline's just flowing so fast right now, and she'll tend to overhit.
Well, she loses this match. Venus comes back from this position now with a break point. She's going to remember that for a long time, because that would have given her 45-4-2, and now here's Venus with a chance.
Yeah, and then the next point she comes up with a lucky shot. That was, I mean, Venus was totally out of position and off guard for that shot. That was a fluke.
Well, Venus had 2 chances, and she took advantage of the first. Most importantly, we want to point out in the middle of that triumvirate there, Lisa Schanzer.
Keeping things loose.
Very personable, intelligent wife. On the right, NBC Sports President Ken Schanzer. On the left, the chairman of NBC Sports, Dick Ebersol. Also honored guests in the royal box today.
Keeping an eye on Maggie Thatcher. Not much on that first serve. Not much confidence either from Venus.
Well, this is a good point, John. We've seen the emotion from Serena. We haven't seen much from Venus, and this is a moment where you would expect to see it.
Pump up. She got lucky there. Got off the break. She's got the break, and she's back in this set.
She always keeps things inside, but I think because she's playing her sister, you know, that's definitely not going to, you're not going to see a lot of emotion there. I mean, they're not even looking at each other. Venus, in particular, is avoiding eye contact with Serena. Too good. Those down-the-line shots Serena's been hitting to Venus's backhand have really worked.
I'm sure Serena senses that Venus is not going for very much on her first serve, and she's really controlling most of the points.
It's a shame because Venus would do better to get pumped up. You know,
absolutely.
She's too serene out there, too placid.
Her 1 point in this game was her first ace of the match.
This be less serene and more serene now.
15-14.
Is now in trouble again. Serena a chance to break here and serve for the Wimbledon title. Just when Venus could have gotten some momentum.
Venus, this set, seemingly played every one of her service games from behind. Oh, double fault.
Game is Serena
And
Williams.
Serena will now serve for the title. Well, the first inkling that Serena Williams was bounding back was at the U.S. Open last fall when she made the finals. The real signal she sent up, though, was this year in Miami, which is in many ways the fifth of the majors, when she beat in consecutive matches Martina Hingis, Venus, and Capriati to win that championship. And then on to Paris, and now one game from a Wimbledon championship.
Venus, Chrissy, to run all that way and miss the easiest shot in the rally.
15
Serena's moved better today. There's no question about it. And I think that first serve percentage of Venus, 70%, and Serena's still picking the balls off and breaking her so many times. Perhaps now they won't be practicing quite as much. I mean, I think that really does favor Serena when they practice. Serena knows her serve better than anyone. She knows exactly where it's going. She knows the pace. She's used to it. And that's the one shot that hurts every other player that plays Venus.
Look at this, 3 easy points. It's Serena at triple match point after only an hour and 17 minutes of play.
And there is your new Wimbledon champion. A Williams dethroned, a Williams
7-6
as the new champion.
6-3.
She's holding it in. That excitement normally would have been jumping all over the place, but out of respect for her sister Venus.
And I don't sense there may be quite the happiness for her sister that Venus had in Paris a month ago. I'm not sure. We'll see if she takes photographs of this ceremony.
Yeah.
So a new champion at Wimbledon, and for the first time in
easy game for her when she was serving for the match.
Think about the company she's in. How about these names? Billie Jean King, Yvonne Goolagong, Margaret Court, Chris Evert, Martina Navratilova, Steffi Graf. Those are the only other women to do the French Wimbledon back-to-back.
I'm amazed that she could do it, and I actually picked Venus because of the fact that I just thought Serena was so excited about winning the French that it would take her really a lot of trouble to get back down to earth and to get psyched up again for Wimbledon. And she did it, and mental toughness has never been her big asset in the past, but boy, this year she's a different player. Look at this, 4-0 against Jennifer Capriati, 3-0 now against Venus.
In boxing, they call that the undisputed number one. She is the champion. Serena Williams, the trophy presentation next. The sun shining on the All England Club at Wimbledon. That's a welcome sight in the second week. And the Williams sisters may well have put to rest many of the concerns about their ability to compete in a championship match. Certainly not Venus's best match, but they competed. And there'll be one break in tradition today at Wimbledon for the Ladies' Championship. The Duchess of Kent normally presents the championship trophy. A family commitment has prevented her from taking part today.
The crowd acknowledging Venus and how difficult it was for her to play her sister.
And now Serena Williams to lift on high what is most curiously named the Venus Rosewater Dish.
Well, they already printed Williams last night. They could print the name earlier than ever. Just a matter of which initial. I think it's apropos.
Ladies and gentlemen, the chair umpire, Mrs. Jane Harvey.
And now the one British representative in this championship, Jane Harvey, is in the chair. And that's one of the, I'm looking at John as I say, this is one of the nice traditions here at Wimbledon, the chair umpire being honored.
After the two women's players, I don't know if that's a little unusual. I'm glad that Chrissy was interrupted as the umpire came on the court.
No, I was just going to say it's apropos she's wearing that tiara, Serena, because she is the queen for the day.
So you're going to do it separately, are you? Okay. Well, Serena, congratulations. I mean, you've won Grand Slams before, but you were breathing pretty heavy in that last game.
Yeah, I just was trying to take it easy because I said, hey, it's either now or never because I'm playing a two-time Wimbledon champ, and it's hard to beat Venus here.
This is Sue Barker, a former professional champion from Great Britain, Sue Barker of the BBC.
It was wonderful tennis in that first set. You really raised the level of your play in that tiebreak.
Yeah, I definitely was really fighting in that first set. I served well in the tiebreak, and Venus was, oh, how many balls did she get? Gosh, she just wouldn't stop running the balls down. I was getting a little upset, but you know, I would like to think, if I have a chance, I would like to thank my God, Jehovah, for, you know, allowing myself and my family and Venus to do so well in tennis, and my mom and my dad and Linda, thank you so much for being always there for me, and I love you. Thank you.
I mean, that's what comes across. It is so much a team effort, so it must be really difficult to actually face your sister. How tough is it preparing for this sort of match?
It's not tough preparing for it at all. We just go out there and we prepare, just practice with each other. It's really not tough preparing for it.
Yeah. But do you talk about what you're going to do in the match, or do you not talk about it the night before?
I hope not. No, we don't really talk about how Venus, okay, I'm going to hit here. No, not at all.
Okay. And what about this trophy? It's an absolutely wonderful trophy. As you said, Venus has got two. I think you're going to keep hold of that for a while, aren't you?
I'm going to try at least for a year to keep hold of it. So I'm really excited. And thanks, Carrie, you too, and Joven, and everyone else I forgot.
Okay, congratulations, Serena.
Thank you.
Venus, I know everyone would love to hear from you. Twice the champion here, but she returned serve so well today.
Yeah, she just really played every time a better shot. So when there's a better shot, sometimes you have to accept it.
But I mean, it must be difficult because you're obviously disappointed, but thrilled for your sister.
Well, obviously, Grand Slams, this is where it's at, especially at Wimbledon, this is where it all started. So at least I know that sometimes I can look at the trophy.
Because you know when you get home, you can put your 2 next to her 1.
Good idea.
But it's been a fabulous time. And I know your dad, Richard, who's not here, actually dreamed of the 2 of you playing here in the Wimbledon final. So I'm sure you've got a message for him as well.
For sure, that was my dream. Hi, Daddy, I love you. Hi, Grandma, I miss you.
And of course, still a chance for a Wimbledon title in the doubles as well.
Well, yes, that's coming up, the semifinals. I guess we have to hold on because honestly, it's all I have left now.
Wonderfully said, and I know you'll be back next year. Well done, Venus Williams.
And some family collection. The 9th consecutive Grand Slam championship won by an American woman. And 6 of them by the sisters. 4 for Venus and 2 for Serena. Of course, Serena had won previous to this stretch. The Duke of Kent and Her Royal Highness Princess Alexandra presented the trophies to the sisters today in lieu of the Duchess of Kent.
It's going to be hard for anybody to beat one of these girls on grass. It's looking ahead, though, because their strengths are even more magnified on this fast surface.
And as mom and family and friends watch, they owned not only the court today, they owned the entire Friends box. They had both rows.
That's well said. I think we're inching our way closer to a truly outstanding affair. I think Serena really played an excellent match, and there was moments from Venus, and I think there's going to be times when she's disappointed that she wasn't quite in the flow, and shall we say possibly, Chrissy, intimidated a little at how well Serena was moving.
Yeah, I think the court coverage by Serena, I mean, Venus normally would have put away a lot more balls, but Serena just kept getting them back. The court coverage and the serving, those 2 really made the difference. And the momentum coming in from the French Open. I really thought it might work against her, but it didn't. It just, her confidence was even stronger this tournament.
You want to win more of those titles when you win this.
And that's where I think it is. Again, a match which was much cleaner than the match they played in Paris a month ago. But now you're looking at the dominant player for 2002 is Serena. Venus heads to the hard courts and eventually to New York, where she's also the 2-time defending champion. Will this serve as a little challenge to Venus? As John, you said during the match a couple times, she has to step it up to play with her sister.
She's someone else who would benefit perhaps a slight subtle, because once you start as a kid doing it, a slight subtle change in motion on her serve.
Yeah, and I sort of wonder, they're 20 and 22. What's going to happen further on down the road? Are they both going to get different coaches? Are they both going to practice with different practice partners? You know, will they split up a little bit if one of them is on the losing end?
And you know what we see here again, I think, should be outlined rather than revisiting past sins. I think it's much more appropriate in a moment like this to congratulate the sisters for the growing grace and dignity in which they handle these situations.
I agree. And in the beginning, when they came on the scene, they were often aloof. They had that image, but let me tell you, the players on the tour didn't welcome them with open arms, and it took a while for everybody to warm up to one another. But one thing about Serena and Venus, they never have anything bad to say about players. The players take pot shots at them, but they don't respond. They say no comment, or that's not what she said, or, you know, Serena even went as far as this year said, you know, I've been brought up to say nice things about people.
Well, there it is. is a championship trophy, a championship smile. Bud Collins will be joining us to interview the sisters when we come back. Center Court, Wimbledon, another Williams family party today. Almost felt like a summer holiday barbecue out here, didn't it? For the Williams family. And for the second straight championship, Chris, a little changing of the guard. Serena has done it. She now is clearly indisputably number one.
Well, it appears that way. Venus won 4 in a row, and Serena was feeling left out, and she made some statements this year at the beginning of the year that sort of surprised all of us. I want to win Grand Slams. I want to be number one. A little more intense atmosphere out there, especially that first set. I thought they both came out firing bullets.
And there is no camera today for Venus as it was in Paris, where she so gladly was taking pictures to record Serena's celebration. Very graceful today, but a little more reserved, Venus Williams.
I think she wanted this one a little bit more than the French. I think she felt that she had won 4 in a row, and Serena had been playing so well during the French Open, and she really deserved to win on that surface. But as I said before, Venus has a lot of pride, and this is her turf. She considers grass her best surface, and to have her younger sister beat her, well, maybe now she's the one that's intimidated with Serena.
Think about this in a Wimbledon where the American men had such trouble. Going all the way back to Lindsay Davenport's win here 3 summers ago. That's 12 of the last 13 slams won by an American woman, and the only one that wasn't was Mary Pierce, who, for all intents and purposes, is American.
And these two are so good because they have each other to practice against, built-in practice partners anytime they want. They push each other to higher levels.
And as the sisters pass through the doors, they'll be joining Bud Collins, who's celebrating his 30th Wimbledon. And Venus up first.
Congratulations. There are not many people with 2 Wimbledon titles. But could you have imagined when the year began, you're number one, you would lose your Wimbledon title, but the trophy would stay in your home?
It's just been a great year so far for me. Obviously no Grand Slams yet, but it's been real monumental. And, you know, I can always share in the good times with Serena, too.
But is there pain of defeat?
Not really. I don't take it so seriously anymore. I realize this is just a game, and when I walk off the court, that part of my life is over. So that's really, I try to keep it on the court.
But are you trying to win out there?
Well, obviously, I mean, no doubt.
No doubt. We've seen that many times. Congratulations. I know you'll be back. Thank you, Venus Williams. And let's have another Williams. She's wearing a tiara of a queen. Serena. Congratulations. France is yours. Wimbledon is yours. Italy was yours. You have the old world triple. Were there any nerves going out there today?
I was so nervous, especially in the last game. I was just, it's like, breathe. You know, I went back to the basic breathing techniques.
Basic breathing. What won it for you?
I think my serve this whole tournament. Last time, actually, when I won the U.S. Open in 1999, my serve was there the whole time, and I think my serve was here this whole tournament. So I'm proud of myself.
You had that hook to the forehand again that was so devastating. Your sister ran well. You ran well. Was there any doubt in your mind after the tiebreaker that you would win?
No, it's just that I wasn't surprised that I won. I was surprised that I won the tiebreak because Vance was playing so well, and I was just fighting to stay in there with her. But yeah, I'm so happy. I'm doing so well, and I thank my parents so much.
We hear about sibling rivalry. Is there any in your family?
No, we're 30 years from now, really. It's, you know, we're both going to be retired, and we're both just going to live normal lives. And so even 10 years from now, so we don't have sibling rivalry.
Have the sisters intimidated the rest of the tour?
I don't know. We're just here playing tennis and having fun, and we enjoy it. We had a great match today, and I'm Wimbledon champ, and Venus is 2-time Wimbledon champ, and they were just really happy.
What are you going to do tonight?
Oh, I had to play doubles.
That's right. Good luck, too. But later on.
No. Hopefully if I win the doubles, then we have to play again the next day. I never celebrated for the U.S. Open, the French, or for Wimbledon. I don't know.
Well, you will. You told me that blondes have more fun, and today you did. Congratulations, the face of a champion, Serena Williams, Ted.
And indeed, we'll be seeing, in fact, later on in our coverage today, the Williams sisters are due back on center court to play a semifinal doubles match against, of all people, Anna Kournikova and Chanda Rubin. There was one other singles match on the docket today at Wimbledon. The identity of Leighton Hewitt's opponent in tomorrow's men's championship to be decided. Xavier Malisse, David Nalbandian. We'll have that match for you when we come back to Breakfast at Wimbledon.